So now we will learn about handling numbers in Java. So as I'm using NetBeans, I'm calling the numerics that I have used, short form of number example. I've taken it for my reference. You can also name your variable names and your method names as per your own wills and wants, but make sure if it has to follow some particular pattern, you should follow that. So when I call the numerics function, it redirects to this space, the reference to this space. Then I declare a integer variable of data type int, that is integer, of some any random value. So if I declare integer with the int keyword, I can only use it as an integer to take its value and cannot use the integer functions that are defined. So if I have to use the integer functions, I will type integer b is equal to 98. So you see that red line there, it means the variable I am using it 2 times. So we should also not overlap variables in Java, as it may cause problems later on. So the proper way to define an integer is integer b is equal to 8. So when I just use any functions of the integer class, or a function, data function appear. It's the same for float and double also. So basically integer is a number value which is not a decimal and is of a certain range as the name specifies, and float is a number value which has a decimal part with it, and double is a value used for long numbers or basically the computer systems. So we can use system.out.println to print the values of them. We can also use a boolean, that's a true false type variable which can store either a true value or a false value. So basically nn can be assigned a true state or a false state. So there is a function called equals which checks whether two variables provided are equal or not. So we have defined input as one number and ans as another number, both of integer types which are having different values. So boolean nn we are equating it to input dot equals ans. So we are basically compare. This is quite same as ans dot equals input. So we can see that these two numbers are not equal, so this should return false, and so on. Then we can also check whether a particular variable is a integer or string by typing the variable name space instance of keyword and the class from which it is inheriting. So when I convert b to a string, so we can convert any float, double or integer to a string by typing b.toString, or you may also use string.value of and pass the variable as an argument. So b.toString converts this integer b8 into string 8. Now there are difference between 8 and the number 8 and the string 8. With this number 8 you can do addition, like 8 plus 1 is equal to 9, but when you are using the 8 as a string, then 8 plus 1 will return 81 because you are basically concatenating two strings. Also string can be converted with the same type, that is string can be concatenated with a string, it can be added to its string class, and numbers can be added to numbers. You cannot mix adding these two, otherwise it will result in an error. So again you can define float in this proper way, and you can get the integer value of any float by using the int value function as shown here, and you can also use the byte value function to get the byte value of a particular number. Similarly there are many max functions, but to use them you must import java.lang.math. Since I have used java.lang.star, means it will import all the classes that are defined in the files in the java.lang module. So you can also use the math function So math.sign returns the is basically the sign function used in mathematics, and math.random returns a value, float value between 0 to 1, any random value. So let us run it and see what happens. So first I am getting the value of that is 16. Then I am printing out the value of integer as shown below. Since input is not equal to ANS, so it is evaluated to false. So we are trying to print out ln, which determines whether input is equals to ANS. Since they are not equal, so the output false is coming. And then we are also printing out in the next line ANS dot equals integer. Since you can see they both are equal, so it is given true as the answer. Now b dot to string is an instance of string. It is true, so it is returning true here again. Then we write h dot int value, so it is taking only this integer value, that is 578. Finally h dot byte value is giving us 66, that is the byte value of this h variable, which is of float type. Then the math functions we are getting, and first did math.sign, math.random. So basically first this inner function will get executed, defined here. A random value will be taken during runtime, and then its sign will be calculated and displayed, and then math.random I have demonstrated for better understanding. So this was all about numbers. Now see you in the next video. Thank you.